Well, it's come to my attention that Alabama is still inevitable even without Saban. Of course Milroe goes off against the Georgia defense. Of course Carson Beck has a god-awful first half. Of course even when Georgia comes back, Alabama has an immediate answer. That is the way of life. It is a constant. No matter how much changes, Alabama will still reign supreme. Well, I'm off to see if Bama's next SEC championship game. Tell me when something interesting happens. I seriously doubt it will. Wait, what's that? They lost to who? Bama, you need a Snickers? You're not you when you're defensively inept. Think about this for a sec. The last time Vanderbilt beat Bama on the field was in 1984. They had been outscored 148-3 in their prior 3 matchups against the Tide. They were 2-10 last year with 10 straight losses to end the season. They lost to Georgia State this year. Nobody on God's green earth could have even imagined this game was even remotely close. But then, suddenly, in their darkest hour, a man seemingly descended from the heavens to become their savior. Eureka! We have found the Vanderbilt X Factor, a man from the land of Las Cruces. You may know him simply as Diego Pavia, but to Alabama, he will be known as their worst nightmare. He could not be stopped. It was like watching NCAA football on freshman difficulty. 418 yards of total offense, 12 third downs converted on 18 attempts and a touchdown on 4th down to boot. Over 40 minutes of possession, only 2 empty drives all game. Pavia and Clark Lee made an absolute mockery of that Bama defense for a full 60 minutes. One of the biggest upsets in the history of the SEC. The first one against a top 5 team, let alone the number 1 team in the country in program history. What we just saw was the real-life equivalent of the evil empire being defeated by a bunch of Ewoks. Warning signs may have already been there for Alabama with how they almost blew it against Georgia, but good lord, this still came off as a shock. Knowing the Tide, they'll recover from this, but this is still a potential game changer to the SEC. Alabama isn't invincible, and Vanderbilt exposed those flaws for everyone to see. The rest of America celebrates as Washington bays in DeBoer's defeat. Nephi Leilao is finally vindicated. The Tide had absolutely no resistance on Vandy's ship led by the great Captain Pavia. The only wave of any kind was the wave of fans setting a goalpost down Broadway and into the river. Thank you, Commodores, for this glorious bounty, and may you celebrate this win for all of eternity. Have a nice day.
But the only place you play in the SEC that's not hard to play is Vanderbilt. Vanderbilt, you have more fans there than they have.